we go. Let's get our friends on Facebook in here. All right. Let's do it to it. Spin. All right. Welcome in. It is Friday morning, potentially something that's coming here pretty soon. Eric, appreciate you for that. An hour earlier, I actually set my alarm for starting at 6:30. And I'm like, wait a second. Not yet, but soon. I guess we're breaking news there. But appreciate everyone coming in. It is a special rendition of Broncos for Breakfast on this fine Friday morning. I am Nick Kendall, joined by Eric Trickle. Erica, you lost power. We had a little bit of technical difficulties to start, but luckily we're here now. Good to see you. I don't know if you can tell my voice is a little sore today. Kid was up coughing. He's covered in snot, so I don't know if it was me yelling at the game yesterday or a cold or a little bit of both, but we're here, and I got to say I'm really mad at myself. I made my coffee a little too weak. Full pot, it's 2 weeks, so off to a start like the Broncos offense.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I'm doing pretty good. Power went out last night. We've been dealing with that for the last few weeks. I don't know what it was because it wasn't, a major outage like it had been last week that we were dealing with it. So something more localized, not sure what caused it. And then it was great waking up to a bunch of snow on the ground. So that was fun as well with getting the car started for the wife as she gets ready for work. Oh, so my morning has been, just as yours has been and just how the Broncos offense has been. It has not been the best start.
But 7 wins in a row. The Broncos, the best record in the NFL. Dubs in the chat, 8-2. And man, what a defense. I know the Raiders' offensive line is pitiful. They traded away their best wide receiver, but that was after the first 2 or 3 drives, they said, nah. And shout out to that whole unit. Shout out to Vance Joseph. Again, I know that Raiders team is not a juggernaut offensively. They're underrated defensively. I mean, we didn't do a preview show. Otherwise, we would have. It's easy to say now, Nick. I mean, I think they came into the game 13th in defensive DVOA. So they've been actually okay defensively. But shout out to the Broncos defense. Vance Joseph, the whole unit. I mean, I think you can go through almost every single player and say, yeah, good game. There's a few plays, Dre Greenlaw here and there. I think Genty had him a couple times, Singleton. But man, the pass rush was unbelievable. And what's really unbelievable is that was a defense without the best back 7 player in the NFL. And they, after that Raiders Genty touchdown, where the Raiders were another game where the Broncos are horrible in the starting field position differential, they put the clamps on. 7 points. Shout out to the defense. I don't even know what else to say. Take the ball away more, I guess, but that's the only thing I can come up with.
Yeah, I mean, and this wasn't a game like in previous weeks where they had those opportunities literally hit them in the hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did get that one interception by Tillman that bounced off of Genty's hands, which, again, I said his last interception, I'm just going to say it again, start getting Tillman in on some offensive packages because he is so fun to watch with the ball in his hands.
Kick returner.
There we go. We need something more on special.
They're using bigger bodies there now, right?
Yeah. So. But anyways, this defense, it was phenomenal. And like, you can be phenomenal as they were and still have those opportunities that were missed by the Raiders offense, which there were a few of them. Riley got beat deep and the ball got thrown, and that probably was a touchdown. There was another one that would have been a first down that would have put them in field goal range where there was a missed opportunity. So those happen, but those happen in every single game. Mm-hmm. And Broncos managed to overcome it and really shut them down. They got to Geno Smith 6 times. They limited Brock Bowers to 1 catch. Granted, it was a big one. They limited Michael Myers to I think 2 catches for like 22 yards or something like that. Basically, their biggest weapon was Tyler Lockett, who they just managed to get going because they kept sneaking him in through the coverages a little bit through the play design. So they managed to get him going. They limited Ashton Genty to I think 3.3 yards per carry or something like that. It was and for this defense, and again, you've mentioned it before, I've mentioned it before, you can only play what's in front of you. So yeah, the Raiders are beat up on their offensive line, but you still got to go out there, and execute and do well. And this defense, lights out, and I stand by it, and Talanoa Hufanga remains the best free agent signing because even without Patrick Surtain, he gives you another piece that he's another straw that stirs the drink with this defense, with all the ways that Vance Joseph has been able to utilize him. And just keeps that secondary playing at a high level without Surtain, and why when we get Surtain back and when we had him, this defense was even better than we've seen over the last couple of weeks without him.
And I know we've been tough on Alex Singleton, and he's not like a great linebacker, but I think since week 3, he's leveled off to a like adequate playing level, which you're not going to have a defense that's just stacked full of Pro Bowlers. And every once in a while, he's going to get isolated. But like, if he's something you are pissing and moaning about like constantly, you're probably doing okay. Like really good teams can, like Jonathan Taylor on a drag route, find me the linebacker covering that. So he's been, again, NPC jag, but like if you're going to have it anywhere, it's either linebacker or safety, probably. And I think also it's been good to see Greenlaw. He brings a violence and an edge that this team, along with Hufanga, really lacked last season, despite how good they were. And I personally, I love it because it's our team. But like after the game, people are already be like, oh man, Sean Payton, Bounty Gate 2.0. This Broncos team is so dirty, late hits. Chiefs fans already calling for penalties next week. You're going to ice up, son. It's going to be a rock fight because the way the Broncos offense is playing right now, there's no other way they can win besides a rock fight. But the defense has been up to the challenge. So shout out to them. I know you wanted to say something about Alex Singleton. I know he gets, and I've been somebody, well, he was terrible to start the year. I think he's, very mediocre, but that's okay for me right now.
Yeah. All I was going to say is like, I was one of those that I've been really harsh on him. I wouldn't say week 3. I would say about week 5, week 6 is when he really started to turn around and start playing a little bit better. But I also, when I go back and watch, the Broncos are doing a little bit differently on the back end, primarily with Brandon Jones to help cover for some of those issues that Alex Singleton brings you, which is fine. If Alex Singleton is the worst player on your defense and you found a way to hide some of his issues, it works. And the Broncos are showing that. So they can manage with Alex Singleton being out there, and with him. And I will say the one thing that that they're not doing to cover him, they're covering him in coverage. They're not covering him against the run, and that is an area where he has really improved from those first 4, 5, 6 weeks on the season, where he's just hitting the right lane more consistently. Mm-hmm. And I think that part of that was when they brought in Talanoa Hufanga, they changed the run fills up front, and that created some confusion for both him and Justin Strnad. And it just took some adapting and getting used to it. So I think that was part of the issues with him working downhill, but he's overcome it and he's been playing out a little bit better. And again, if he's the weakest link on your defense, you can live with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say hello to people in the chat. Obviously a smaller chat today. So click the thumbs up, like, share, do all that good stuff because we're off sync with our show being on a Friday morning and reacting to another Broncos win, rising to 8-2 and probably the biggest game since a playoff game last season on the horizon against Kansas City. And you have a little bit of breathing room built in with your schedule and the Chiefs losing some games. Let's just call it one score game luck on both sides, both teams. But that's the NFL sometimes, right? You got to take advantage. Nobody should apologize for that. The ball bouncing your way and going against your opponent's way just is what it is. That's why it's the best league. Victor Rios, good to see you. Good morning, guys. Awesome to see you, Victor. Appreciate you coming in on this fine Friday. We got Jason Piran, a member. Shout out to our members. Thank you. Says good morning, all. Good morning to you. William in the house, still trying to figure out how our offense looked that bad last night. Eric and I have, before the show, made a conscientious effort not to start with the offense or special teams like we did last week against Houston. We'll get into the offense soon, but yeah, it was I'm glad I wasn't listening to the broadcast because I think Al Michaels probably would have hurt my feelings, knowing how he just doesn't give up you-know-what anymore and how angry he was at the Broncos-Colts Thursday night football game back in 2022, 2023, whatever the 12-9 overtime one that was like an affront to God. William, also the play call Sean did on the 3rd and 1 to give to Sutton. I have no clue what that was. I mean, that was just getting cute and maybe a little desperate. Start the clown music. I mean, I don't think there's sides because when you play in the toilet, everybody gets shit all over them. And that's where the Broncos offense is at right now. But if it comes to like Bo Nix versus Sean Payton, I feel like every time I've gone back and watched the game again, guys are open in the progression based on the defense and the quarterback's not making the throw or hitting the throw. So I think it's more of a quarterback problem right now, but this one specifically, what are you doing, Sean? I get you're desperate here, but my God, that's don't love it.
There are a handful of things every single game that you can sit there and lay at the feet of Sean Payton.
Yeah.
This play call was one of them. You were actually running the ball pretty well up to that point, and third and one, and you decided to get too cute in a moment out of desperation or whatever it was. There was absolutely no need for that. And on that note, another great problem that you can lay at his feet was the 6 run calls in the first half. Like, I've talked about it before. If you're going to run, we talk about it with quarterbacks all the time. You got to get them in the rhythm. Seems kind of true for the running game as well. You got to get the offensive line into the rhythm. You got to get the running back into the rhythm. You got to keep running the ball because eventually it's going to break a little bit. But Sean Payton, time and time again, he calls 1 or 2 runs that go for nothing or only like 1 yard, and he goes away from it almost entirely. And I think the biggest affront to this with his play calling was after the blocked punt, they ran the ball once, which was a quarterback power that shouldn't have been ran. It should have, I don't know, Bo Nix, maybe they finally took away the ability for Bo Nix to kill plays because I only heard him kill like 1 or 2 plays against the Raiders last night. But with what the Raiders lined up for, that play should have been killed for whatever reason. It was very clear they were going to run off the left tackle with either the quarterback or the running back. That part wasn't clear, and the Raiders were ready for it. And then you pass on second and 12, and then you pass on 3rd and 12, which both of those, Bo Nix, my God. But Sean Payton, there's enough blame to go around with him with stuff and where you can lay blame on him. That play call was one of them. The lack of running game was one of them. Man, it's like the fullback play a couple weeks ago on like 3rd and 13. Like it's just a sign of at that point of like giving up essentially, which is part of what bothers me so much with this cutesy play call.
I mean, when your offense and quarterback are struggling like that and your defense is playing as well as it is, I understand wanting to kind of maybe go into a shell a little bit, stalemate, like they're going to blink first. And this is just me being, gaslit by watching Iowa football for so many years and somehow they miraculously win. This was an Iowa football game at the end of the day. First game, I think my dad texted me this stat. Somebody in the chat can correct me if they've seen this one. But the first game since 1974 that both teams had more penalties than first downs, which is, I mean, that's what the product was yesterday. And again, shout out to the Broncos defense. Want to get into it, but we want to say a little more people in the chat coming in here. We got a super chat, Diego. Bam, bam, bam. Thank you so much, Diego, with the $5 super chat and the Bo Nix holding money profile picture. He says, Bo decision making has been awful. Also, is this guy ever going to learn to set his feet and make accurate throws? I don't know what's going on there. It's really frustrating to watch. And again, like some of the decisions and like bailing on the pocket and everything, but like he's not executing the bare fundamentals right now. And like I understand, like since week 1, we can dial back the conversation. There's a time and place where yes, you need to do the shortstop making a play, a double play ball, kind of throw off platform, different arm slot, but it cannot be the basis of your drop back pass game. It needs to be calm, smooth, easy. You want to glide in the pocket. And again, the gold standard for that is Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Bo doesn't have to be those guys, but right now it looks like he's never had a quarterback coach in his life. I mean, I don't understand what the heck is going on with his lower body mechanics. Maybe he needs to hang out with Jake Plummer before the game and do what Jake Plummer enjoyed doing. Because right now it looks like he's snorting espresso in every single huddle. But it's frustrating. And I will say again, I said it on Twitter, and again with Bo Nix, you guys know, like I'm a doubter as far as like this, especially the MVP talk, laughable. Bo Nix being a guaranteed franchise quarterback so far. Jury's still out for me. But I think this was a game that the Raiders had a good game plan. They have an underrated defense, and it was a Thursday night game against a divisional opponent. You found a way to win. That matters. We can call it for what it is. Bo Nix was bad, but Patrick Mahomes was bad last week too. I don't always like when people do that because the overall sample, Patrick Mahomes is a freaking god, and the overall sample for Bo Nix, he's not. So why does Patrick Mahomes get the benefit of the doubt? Let's look at the evidence. But overall, one game. They can come back against the Chiefs next week, move the football. Bo Nix looks great. All will be somewhat resolved. The results will still have been the results, but I'm willing to flush it personally if we see better play going forward, but it is a trend so far this season.
The issue I have with that is, at what point do we stop with the excuses for it? Like against the New York Jets, they went out and stunk the bed. Well, it's in London. Then the New York Giants game outside for 3 quarters absolutely stunk the bed. Well, they're traveling back from London. The Philadelphia Eagles game for 3 quarters absolutely stunk it up offensively. Well, they're traveling to the East Coast and then they got to travel to London. At some point, that has to stop. I'm not saying it's now. It is a thing of, it is a short week. It is a viable excuse, just as the other ones were. It's a viable excuse. But at some point, he's got to put on his big boy pants and stop stinking it up when you have these viable excuses for it. It's a short week. It's against the Raiders. Every quarterback's going to have some bad games, but it can't be every single time the Broncos are going on the road or they're doing a lot of traveling or it's a short week. It can't be every single time that's the case, where that's the excuse that Bo Nix gets. This was a terrible game from Bo Nix. He looked lost. Even on simple concepts that Sean Payton was calling for him, he looked confused with what to do with it. On going back to after that blocked punt, on the second down, the Raiders dropped 8 players into coverage, and it was like Bo Nix had never seen that before. These are things that even on a short week, even with the viable excuses that we can give Bo Nix, we shouldn't be seeing. So hopefully, whatever it takes, it gets figured out, and it gets figured out pretty damn soon, because at some point, you got to take that step back and be like, you're not cutting it for this offense. You are being part of the problem. You are holding this offense back. The first interception is another example of that. So at one point is
better than Crawshaw's punts. The interception.
I'll come back when we get to special teams. I'll talk on that, because on 2 of those punts, it looked like the wind affected the drop of the ball for his footing.
Okay.
But Bo Nix was a disaster, and we can't just keep giving him excuses every single week, because great quarterbacks, they own it. They don't get those same excuses, even though they have the same viable excuses available to them.
Yeah, to me, I think in a 1-game sample, you can point to potential reasons that the play was bad, but when it's the sample that we've gathered to this point,
yes,
we're beyond reason. It is just outright excuses. And guess what? If you're a franchise quarterback for a Super Bowl potential team, you got to be better. And he hasn't fully fallen on the sword in the press conferences, but he has said the offense is not playing well enough. The only person who's really fallen on the sword is J.K. Dobbins. So shout out to him. Probably the best sound bite every single week in the locker room, standing up for the fans who are booing them. I mean, I get it. The Broncos are 8-2, but also the fans aren't stupid, right? Like, this is not a sustainable level of play from the offense, and also the special teams, and also the defense. But it's really frustrating right now. But there was frustrating games in 2015. You had the super offense 2013 getting booed in the Jacksonville game, or was it Tennessee? One of those 2 games, they're getting booed off the field at halftime. The fans know not a good enough product from the offensive side of the ball right now, and it's frustrating to watch. There's no doubt. James Todd, $10 super chat. Thank you so much, James. Hopefully you guys are doing okay with my kind of little gravelly voice today. You can tell it's a little bit out there. Said, what the bleep has happened to Bo Nix this year? It's crazy regression here, and the fact that we have the best record in the league means it's only going to get highlighted more. Wild stuff right now. I mean, I don't know so much if it is like some of it is Bo Nix regressing because he's not hitting throws that he was last year, but also I'm wondering if some of it's the book's a little bit more out on him now, and he has very simple concepts that Sean Payton calls for him because they cannot operate full field drop back pass game. Your playbook's really limited when you can't do that. And again, like, what's the one personnel excuse, excuse me, that he has? Wide receivers, pass catchers are bottom 10 in the league, probably, but it's a top 5 offensive line. It's a top 5 defense. Yeah, I think, again, say what you will, the Broncos offense would probably be bottom 3 in the league if not for Sean Payton and the red zone designs that we had this season. So I don't know. It's frustrating. It's not good enough right now. hopefully the time off. I heard Sean Payton's going to give him the next 3 days off, see him back Monday, get away from the facility. There's no snow out here in Colorado right now. From what I've heard, the low snowpack, so no skiing, but just get away. It's too much right now. Maybe take up meditation, smoke pot. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but he's so wired up right now. He just needs to calm down. Breathing exercise, goose fraba, whatever you want to say. Breathe Siddhartha. I don't know, but it's too live wire right now.
It's almost like he's not having fun anymore. Like, it's almost like this is a 9-to-5 job, briefcase job where you don't really like it and you just got to go in and do it just so you can, take care of the family. When I watch his demeanor in press conferences, that's what the vibe that he gives off. It just doesn't seem to be enjoying it. So if that is the case, I don't want to put words in his mouth and say that is, just saying that is what it seems like to me. If that is the case, he's got to figure out something to find that love of the game back. Because one thing that was clear last year, you couldn't question how much love for the game that Bo Nix had last year. You got to figure out something for it. And that could help with his confidence. That can help with the decision-making. That could potentially help with getting the footwork improved to back at least to what it was last year. The placement back to what it was last year. And cut out the no-look throws. Even the touchdown to Troy Franklin was a no-look throw for no reason, and got quite lucky that was caught. That wasn't a great throw. So I'm with you. Take these next 3 days, take a break from football. Don't even watch it. Stay off social media. I don't even know if he has any social media accounts. Just take a step back, take a break, meditate, go skiing, go do something. Just get away, disconnect, and rejuvenate your body and your mind without, the outside noise.
Yeah. Frustrating, no doubt. It's not all on Bo Nix again. When you play in the toilet, everybody's going to be covered in what. But it's it's frustrating. And because despite the Broncos being 8-2 and the Chiefs at 5-4, I would be shocked if Vegas doesn't have the Broncos as an underdog in this game at home next week. But I got to say, we do love an underdog.
Yeah, speaking of underdogs, football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Are you ready to get off the bench and into the game? Then head over to Underdog, whether you're into basketball, football, hockey, or any sport in between. Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action all season long.
That's right. Playing an Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on their stats, such as rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and much, much more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash.
Yeah, people have so much fun playing Underdog and winning money while watching football. That's a touchdown, you guys. Download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code MHuddle to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you guys be next?
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Shout out to Underdog. Shout out to Todd Ostendorf. Good to see you. Good morning, Broncos country. William asked what happened with Quinn. He was sick, but I think he did enter back in the game. So he should be okay. Maybe had to make a trot run, if you know what I catch my drift. Michael Ronquillo, the guy. Good morning, Nick and Eric. Great to see you. Ernie Mays. We're 8-2. Be happy. Next we go 9-2. I mean, again, you can be absolved of many sins if you beat the Chiefs next week. But I mean, we can just call it that effort from everybody besides the defense will not get it done against the Chiefs next week. So we got Wayno coming in, says, please give up play calling, Sean. Again, I feel like I see this and like I try to keep an open mind, but then I go back and watch it and it's like the quarterback's not throwing the football or throwing it accurately. I think the designs are fine, especially the run designs. I think are pretty good. And the red zone designs. I mean, again, I come back to it like you would have significantly less touchdowns. Like I don't know if there's anybody besides maybe the Chiefs that get as many wide open red zone looks. And this was a game, actually, this might be the worst Broncos red zone game this season, going 1 for 3. But I don't jive with that. And it's the whole, like, again, I'm afraid to even utter the words because people get mad at me, Eric. But Tim Tebow, like the unleash conversation, like why don't you just go tempo, let him throw it down the yard, do the RPO. It's like there's probably a reason that he's not doing that. The same reason the Broncos didn't just let Tebow drop back and fling it around and play backyard football the entire time, especially when you have a defense like this. Like right now, Sean Payton, the offense is not doing well, but I feel like he's managing the heck out of the games with what he has roster-wise. You have a great defense, you're going to be in a lot of games unless your offense outright gives it away. And that's to the Broncos' credit. They didn't outright give this one away, like giving up a pick six or a fumble in back of the end zone. Like that's giving the game away. He's calling plays like tight fisting the offense. So that way they don't outright lose the game for the defense. And with how they're playing, I can't blame him for that.
Yeah. And it's tough because there are issues that you can put on Sean Payton, but is it to the point where he gives up play calling? No, it hasn't been that bad. I do think that you can find a happy medium with using tempo. And just not even like full up tempo, because when people say up tempo, a lot of people immediately think, Chip Kelly's get to line quickly, get the ball snapped quickly. You can go that soft, that medium tempo where you're getting up to the line and then you're letting, the play run out. You're making your adjustments at the line, just a medium tempo. And, that's what the Broncos have done a lot with Bo Nix later in games this season. And we've seen him do well. So maybe when, offense is out of sync, maybe do that for a drive. You can go in and out of tempo. It's not like once you choose to go tempo, you have to stay in it. That is one thing where I think that Sean Payton could do a little bit better at and give up on his whole double-edged sword thing because, it can tire out your offense a little bit, but it can also tire out their defense and open up more explosive play opportunities for your offense, which is really what this offense has basically lived by with how inconsistent they've been on a down-to-down basis. So there's things that he can do, but it's not the offense is handcuffed not because Sean Payton wants to handcuff the offense. It's handcuffed because he's forced to handcuff the offense. With this defense, you don't want to completely waste it and have your offense go out there and give games away, as you were talking about, to blow plays, to blow drives. You just want to trying to get enough out of this offense to where you're not losing games. And again, that isn't because by choice. That isn't. You can go back and watch Sean Payton for years, ever since 2006 when he became a head coach. That isn't the way he calls games. He does not call games to lose games. Never has until now. But that is because of what he's getting from on the offense. And it's not all on Bo Nix, but a lot of it is when you can't operate a true drop back passing game, when you have to sit there and stick with RPOs and screens as not only extensions of the run game, but to get the ball into your playmakers' hands and try to get them to go make plays, because you can't rely on Bo Nix consistently downfield, even 10 yards plus downfield. Yeah. You got to put those handcuffs and those guardrails in place so you're not losing games and trying to get the bare minimum out of this offense. And, receivers dropping passes. That's not great. Some blown blocks by the tight ends. There were 5 plays in the first half in like the first 3 drives where Adam Trotman alone was at fault for the freaking blown play. But so it's not all on Bo Nix, but again, a lot of it falls on him because he is that one person that touches the ball every single snap. And he is the one person every single passing play where he is deciding what to go with the ball. And there are receivers getting open that he is skipping over in his progressions that he isn't even looking at. And then he's deciding to throw it into deep downfield where he hasn't been able to connect, basically arm punting the ball on second down that leads to an interception.
Frustrating. We got Mark Smith coming in here, says, can we please use more tight ends? Eric, I know that you, and I'm with you, Adam Troutman is not a good player, but the Broncos are more effective when he's on the field because of what him being on the field does to opposing defenses. They play like base where they're playing Ingram like a wide receiver, and I'm going to be honest, he looks a little cooked speed-wise. He does not move like what we're hoping right now. Honestly, I'm to the point, Eric, where probably it'll be following the bye week because we didn't see him get on the IR, but I want to see Ingram effectively become the third tight end, and I want to see more Troutman and Atkins just because of what it forces the opposing defense to do. But we'll see going forward. Just Ingram, talk about how good Dobbins has been. Excited to see what Greenlaw can do more and more. Hafanga's been arguably the best second best free agent signing in football. I mean, I'd have to go through all the teams. I can't put him over Daniel Jones, but and Darnold probably too. The quarterback's always, it's a quarterback game. But I'm here for more tight end usage, and I miss Atkins a good bit. Lando, good to see you. Ugly win. I'll be forgiven to beat the Chiefs. Absolutely. David says, horrible play calling to Bo, playing anxious and erratic, just praying that the long week, opportunity to rest, take a long look in the mirror, and the trick play, pathetic. Yeah, the trick play, I mean, I don't even know. Pretty rough. Tyler Brooks, can we say the Denver team isn't weather battle tested? Last night showed playoffs need to be the wins, made a difference last night. I was at the game. I don't think the wins were that crazy. They died down a good bit before the game actually started. There was some, but I was sitting pretty high up. But I've been to windy games before. I would not say that was actually that windy.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that, again, you mentioned Crawshaw's bad punts, which they were. Yeah. On two of them, the wind did look like it affected it, just because when the ball's dropping and then you see it start to shift before it hits his foot, that's the wind affecting that drop a little bit, which led to two of those shanked punts. Doesn't excuse the other bad punts that he had. And so it was a factor, but I don't think it was as big of a factor, especially later in the game, because, they showed the flags on the field goal posts, and there was about midway through the second quarter, they showed it, and they were pretty tame. So I don't think the wins were as big of a factor especially outside of the first quarter in this game as a lot of people made it out to be.
Yeah. I've got Mark coming in to blame Nick's poor play last night on the O-line. Can't do effectively with QB and you're constantly getting pressured. O-line needs to get it together, period. A lot of the metrics had the Broncos off pass blocking offensive line as one of the worst in football, but it was one of their worst games last night, I thought. I think, let me see what PFF has here. They had Bo Nix under pressure 43.3% of the time, where he was kept clean 56.7%. And when he was under pressure, he was freaking abysmal. Both of his interceptions, only 16 yards on 12 attempts on those pressured dropbacks. But I would say overall, the offensive line pass protection is a little bit down the list for me on that one.
Yeah. The offensive line was bad in the context that the Raiders are bad at getting pressure on quarterbacks. They are among one of the worst teams for it. They were bad in that aspect. However, this was still a decent game. It was right about, I guess it was third most pressures that they allowed on it. So again, bad game, and then bad with the context with who they were playing. But there were multiple pressures, and there's like three plays that specifically stand out where Mike McGlinchey was actually handling his own, holding up business against Max Crosby. And for no reason, Bo Nix decides to go run out right into the path of where, Bo McGlinchey's blocking Crosby, or even has him stonewalled where Crosby's then able to just disengage, because if McGlinchey holds on, then he's going to get called for holding because it's now changing the direction. And so would lead to holding. There was a handful of plays, and there was one that stood out where Bo Nix ended up having to throw it away when he could have just climbed in the pocket, because the interior did a great job of holding up. And I think this was one of the better plays from Throckmorton and Wattenberg specifically. And you had, I want to say it was Pat Bryant coming open over the middle, but for no reason, Bo Nix felt pressure and got out of there. So it's one of those things. We saw this a lot with Russell Wilson, and say this. Bo Nix isn't doing it as often as Russell Wilson did, but he is still doing it enough to where the offensive line's not all at fault for this. Bo Nix is putting some pressures on himself. Again, that doesn't change the fact this was a rough game for the offensive line, but on the season as a whole, this offensive line has been at least a top 10 unit, and I would say that they've been a top 5 in pass protection.
And I want to give justice to Mark McDonald here. The offensive line on the whole, I'm totally again and with you, but against Mark. Sorry, Mark. Appreciate you about the offensive line being a problem on the whole. But in this game, just to give him credit to what his eyes were telling him, the Broncos gave up pressure on 43.3% of Bo Nix's dropbacks. If that was the number for the entire season, which obviously not, but that would be the league leading under pressure percentage of dropbacks. You have Justin Fields at 42.9 and Justin Herbert at 41.3. Poor Herbert. What can he do? Just crazy, the offensive line there. No, yeah, offensive line, that would have been the league leading under pressure rate for dropbacks. So bad game. Good call out by Mark there on that one. I feel like I was at the game, and I'll need to go back and watch the game today. But being in the Raptors, didn't get to watch everything like I normally do from the broadcast / coaches film, trench view. But this was a game the offensive line didn't play better. So that's a good call out as well. Good to see it. I wanted to also shout out again, Mark, for the super chat. Appreciate you so much coming in. We highlighted the tight end one, but I also didn't just give you the love for the super chat. So we appreciate you over on Facebook. Miguel Santasteven coming in here. Good to see you. Why can't the team clean up penalties and drop passes? Sheesh, this far into the season, you shouldn't be playing like this. It's the penalties. Offense is the offense at this point. I mean, we're going down with the ship called Bo Nix, the Titanic, right? If we hit the iceberg, we're all going down. Sean Payton, Bo Nix, they're married. It is what it is. And we can, P and M all we want about it, but we're along for the ride there. Hopefully you're in first class, so you get on the lifeboat. But for me, it's the penalties and the special teams. Like, that seems like it should be correctable. And Jesus, it's been just almost every game. Luckily in this one, the Raiders at the end salvaged the Broncos to not lose the penalties in this one. Same amount, both had 11, but the Raiders had slightly more yards. So shout out to the Raiders for that one. But Broncos special teams, I would say probably a draw as well. Maybe even slightly less because they had the blocked kick and the missed field goal as well. So maybe Denver did win, but not to their own volition. I'll give it that way. It's very frustrating. And I don't know. Also for the drop passes, I don't know if you've seen the stats. I tweeted it out, Eric, but the Troy Franklin, Bo Nix deep connection is on pace to be the worst in NFL history with the volume of it. And the stats, shout out to fantasy account, Ian Harttitz. He says, tweeted out yesterday, Bo Nix and Troy Franklin have connected on 2 of 24 targets, throwing 30-plus yards down the field. Worst catch rate in the NFL by far. That's a big sample for 30-plus. Like, there's not even that many a game. You're not throwing it 30 yards, but 3 times a game, 5 times a game, 2 for 24. That's just what it's on Bo Nix. It's on Troy Franklin. Not even close, man. It's a failed play at this point. You might as well spike the ball.
Yeah, it's rough. And it's one of those things where that, Sean Payton, he loves to take those shots, and you just got to be able to,
because you can't do the intermediate pass game. But
you need to, because and when you have your offense as handcuffed as it is as a result of things, again, you need to be able to hit those deep shots, because you need those explosive plays to make up for the, for lack of a better way to put it, the dink and dunk offense that you have here with the RPOs and the quick screens. So you need those explosive plays. And Bo Nix, we've seen a few flashes of hitting those shots, but he has been just pretty consistently like a yard or 2 off. Like, it's just barely been outside of the reach for him. And so, like, Troy Franklin, he's still not showing the best deep ball tracking. And there was one play against the Raiders last night where he just didn't seem to track the ball very well. Granted, Nix was a little bit late on the throw as well, but just Franklin just stopped and just waited for the ball and didn't fight for it and didn't adjust to it where the ball was landing. And that was just awful. And then you had the deflection off his hands where, on that play, I do not think Troy Franklin was a target.
No,
it was 100% Pat Bryant, and you can tell that by the concept for it. It was a adaptation of a scissors concept where Troy Franklin was to clear out and pull the coverage back, and you hit Pat Bryant over the middle. And with the timing of throw, Bo Nix is throwing that right after Pat Bryant gets out of his break, and he just sails it. That is a issue of, that the interception is partially on Bo Nix's fault for not placing that throw too high. But Troy Franklin, with his reaction to it, was very obvious that he was not expecting that ball to come his way. He was not expecting that ball to be there. And that's another issue that he has that's, partially he's leading with these issues with the deep connections of Bo Nix. He just doesn't seem to have that awareness in the instant to make those adjustments needed, to have the sense that the ball is coming his way and he can be late to get his hands up to go for the catch.
To be fair, didn't he have that crazy 2-point conversion in the back of the end zone versus the Eagles that was deflected? Yeah, so one sample. But the one for me that I was just like, you got to be bleeping kidding me, was I think it was a screen, but quick pass where he ran into the blocked defender. I was like, what in that's like giving the controller to your little brother who doesn't know what they're doing. And they're like, oh, I'll push it this way. He ran into the blocked defender. I mean, Madden has to drop his awareness by 20 in the next update. I don't even know what the heck was going on there. It was one of those ones where I had to rub my eyes. Like, what the heck what are you doing?
On that note, Trent Sherfield, complete bust of a signing so far. Special
yeah.
teams has been terrible, and his blocking on offense has been terrible. There was a reason why pretty quickly Pat Bryant took over that role on offense.
Shout out Little John Humphrey. We miss you.
And Sherfield was awful on that play. Like, he just couldn't shade the defender outside of the pathway of the thing. But Troy Franklin's awareness on that to run to the defender, like, make a quick cut, get outside that block, and then turn it into a track race. Or just go straight upfield and pick up what you can. Don't try to do in between the two and run into the blocked defender to where the defender can make a play. I feel bad because my reaction to that play actually scared the kid because I was so pissed. That was such an annoying play. That is a play that a mistake that not even high school level players make. That's how bad of a mistake Troy Franklin made on that play. And it was so infuriating. And it just highlights the inconsistencies of it. And while I'm on Troy Franklin, I had somebody come at me, mention to me a couple weeks ago that you got to live with the drops of Troy Franklin because of the big plays he gives you.
What big play?
No, you don't. And last night made it clear why you don't. Because that was a drop that led to the interception. And it's plays like that. Drops open the door for, those deflection interceptions. You cannot live with them. That is something that you got to be corrected with. And Troy Franklin he's been good. He's been solid. But let's be real here. There is a reason why the Broncos were in on Jalen Waddle at the trade deadline.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, let's run through these super chats because you guys deserve a little bit of highlight here. We love you. Brad says, tons of pressure, crazy wind. I was there. I would not say it was crazy wind, but it died down. Different looks. O-line played bad. They did not play. The run blocking was better. But yeah, that was not their best game. Drop passes, bench Franklin and calm down. Bims, are you healthy? God, that's they have not a good game from Franklin. And they need somebody because right now I saw bracketed coverage on Sutton the whole time. Not that Sutton's like a bracket coverage worthy wide receiver necessarily, but it goes to the disrespect of the other pass weapons more than anything. Oh, if we take away this guy, they're screwed. Yeah, I guess so. Thank you so much, Brad, for the super chats and being a member. Shout out to you, $5 super chat. We also got Jay Milzo Gaiman coming in here. Says, aren't Peyton's team supposed to be disciplined? 11 penalties. Waddle non-trade looks real bad right now. He would have caught that second interception. Horrible. I don't know about the second interception. That was, again, Eric kind of touched on the concept already. I think it was a bad throw that should have been catchable for the target where it wasn't. But, I mean, again, like the Waddle trade, maybe he's looking horrible because how bad Franklin was. But the quarterback's so bad, too, that, like, are you even going to maximize that guy? Broncos are in a position, I believe, because, again, sink swim. We're Bo Nix the next year and a half still, unless it's, this bad consistently and maybe they pull it on him at this point next season. I have hope that it'll be better than what we've seen the last 2 weeks and just the lows we've seen this season overall. But yeah, it's not looking good, but still got time to figure it out, right? And they believe in him. I'm hoping that they get away. How good was he last year coming off the mini bye as well? Granted, Kansas City's a top 10 defense in football, and Spagnuolo, I mean, one of the top 5 defensive coordinators in football. So it's a tough one. But Denver's going to have some time to do some serious soul searching on the offensive side of the ball. It does seem, though, that they haven't gotten to the point where like the Bengals are, where they're doing ugly post-game interviews, directly pointing fingers. They're still a team. They got each other's back. So hopefully they can get it better. As far as the discipline goes, I think Peyton's teams historically have been pretty middle of the pack to slightly above average in penalties. But I also think some of that's the cost of doing business with the man coverage defense. It's the procedural penalties that are absolutely mind-boggling. But pass interference, defensive holding down the field, if you're going to play man coverage, you're going to have to live with some of that.
Yeah, Sean Payton's teams they've been penalized quite a bit throughout, his years as a head coach. but it's how they're being penalized this year that's so frustrating. It's, as you said, it's those pre-snap penalties, it's the formation penalties. Those are rather uncommon for Peyton Wren offenses. Been a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball for it than that. And then with what you're saying, or the back half of the season, they got to figure something out. Hopefully, this mini bye week, they're able to go in and pinpoint some things that they can sit there and turn around and improve. I know there's some people that are calling for benching Bo Nix. I am not, even though I am very critical of his play and I'm very frustrated with how he played last night and how he's been playing pretty much all season long outside of a handful of quarters in 2 games against terrible defenses. He's still, barring injury, he still gets the rest of the season and into next season. How long into next season? That depends on his play at that point. Because when you enter year 3, that's when, for me, really, the excuses stop. Either you put up or you shut up at that point for me. So hopefully they start putting it around, because this defense is so good. You don't want it to be wasted. And this offense so far, they're 8-2 because of what this defense has been able to do. And so, some magical moments from the offense, but you don't want to waste this defense for them. So at least
and because they're 8-2, they bought themselves time. They
Yes.
bought themselves time to figure it out. And Sean Payton, again, I'm very frustrated by the trick play as well, and some of it. But again, go ahead.
At least with that trick play, it was laughable with how bad it was. The rest of this offense, it's not even funny. It's lost the humor at this point.
I'm gonna start laughing, but kind of no beer makes Homer go
laugh
crazy.
Crying.
Yeah. Troy Brewer was both this limiting the offense last year, and we did not see it, or did something change? Also, anyway, no Sean Payton runs. Sean Payton calls and Bo check out of them. So a lot of times you'll have 2, especially like early downs, you'll have 2 play calls, and one of them it'll be completely dependent on the defensive look, whether it be box count or what the safeties are showing. And if it's a heavy box, you throw the screen, the quick out, whatever you want to call it. And if it's a lighter box, do you have the right look? It's a run play. That's teams in high school do that. A lot of teams in college do that as well. It's just complete. Oh, how many guys in the box? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is a screen. Denver might have to go away from that right now, because granted the screens, as frustrating as they are, they still tend to have I think they have a slightly higher success rate on the season than the run plays, just because the upside for a pass play in space is higher. But I think also you might be limiting some of your shot plays and play action by doing that, where if you are running successfully in the heavy box, you might be able to get some calculated deep shots, as long as you're not throwing it to Troy Franklin, I guess, with Bo Nix. But that's just a very basic general concept that a lot of teams do. It's not like a change at the line of scrimmage like Peyton Manning audibly. It's we have 2 plays, everybody counts. People can count, right? I know half the country doesn't read at a 6th grade level, but you can count to 6, 11, whatever. 6, 7. But gosh, leading it. But that's something I don't think it's Sean Payton or Bo Nix audibling to stuff. I don't think I've seen much of that. Some projection stuff, but not much.
The kills, that's his call for changing the play at the line of scrimmage, and it is what you're saying. It's the 2 plays, kill. It's from the first play to the second play. And from what I understand, based on some conversations that I've had, it's not so much what is looking like in the box, but it's looking like with the coverage on the outside. Okay. Which that translates to what's in the box.
Yeah.
And as well, but it's more so focused on, do they have, who's
a one-on-one shot?
Yeah, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It's, do they have who they determine as a favorable matchup on the outside? Is Cortland Sutton matched up against X corner, or is Troy Franklin matched up against X corner? And typically one-on-ones. Where's the safety hanging? That's what Bo Nix is reading off of. And as you said, it is typically, you go in with the pass play, you have a run play, kill. You're switching from one to the other. Primarily on 1st and 2nd down, that's the case. And there's been a lot of that this season outside of this game. Going back and watching over it, I think I heard kill calls 3, maybe 4 times, which is why earlier when I was talking about it, you can lay blame of the lack of running, especially in the first half, at Peyton's feet. Bo Nix wasn't changing out of those plays. He was calling hots. He was calling alerts, which is more pass protection and receiver stuff, not so much changing the play. So this case, that wasn't it. But prior to this game, it's been happening a lot. And it, going way back to the season opener, there was at least 6 of those on the first drive where Bo Nix was changing out of a run to a pass.
And that's why the split was so crazy for that one. But you'd hope your quarterback in your pass game could take advantage of box counts and the numbers. Troy Boer, thank you so much. $10 super. You're great. You're always one of the good ones. We appreciate you. Brad, again, coming in here. Also, how often do punters do what the Raiders did last night? The rare pin inside of the 1 twice or whatever it was. I think it was a 1 and a 2, maybe, but they had 3 inside the 10. They also had a bad snap. I don't know if he mishandled it, but didn't get pressure. And then he had the block off of Skinner's dome, chest, whatever it was. So can't believe Denver didn't score a touchdown. The only points scored in the second half of this game was on a negative yardage drive. So shout out to the special teams on that one. Hey, we can do that too sometimes. So yeah, it was that really did mess with the flow of the offense early on. So that's something else, maybe talk about reasons versus excuses, Eric. We'll call it reasons for a 1-game sample. And this one's viable potential reasons, but those 2 drives starting that low, punter, get ready. Right. We're trying to give you some room here. But that's a very frustrating one. And shout out to Brad and shout out to AJ Cole. Really, really good punter. And thanks again to Brad coming in. Arlie, can we talk about how great of a pickup Hufanga's been? Denver has his very own Palomelo. He's been unbelievable. I'm hoping we can get a pick 6 here pretty soon. But what he does as far as the run game and the aggression coming downhill is phenomenal. How many plays he actually gets in there? And I think a lot of them are him abandoning coverage assignments because he's read it. Now, granted, maybe at some point somebody's going to get him on it, but I think you live with it with how instinctual he's been. And again, at some point, he's going to make a play, but Hufanga's been unbelievable. He's been, the edge of the defense has changed completely.
Best free agent pickup by the Broncos and best non-quarterback free agent pickup in the NFL. He's been that good, and I talked about it earlier, and I cannot sing the praises of Hufanga enough with it because, again, we talk about, you and I, we both mentioned about how Patrick Surtain is a straw that serves the drink with the Broncos defense. Well, Hufanga gives them another straw to serve the drink. So even without Surtain, they're still able to do a lot of what they want to do because Hufanga's out there. Yes, there are changes for it, but it's still more in the style of what they want to do instead of having to adapt out of that style because you're missing that one piece. So he's been absolutely great. Absolutely love the pickup. If only they can get more consistency out of Brandon Jones next to him with the way they're using him, then this safety duo could be elite. But until then, it's still a very good safety duo with Hufanga. Again, he's playing lights out. He's such a good player.
I will say Sam Darnold probably also better, but because
I said outside of quarterbacks.
Oh, outside of quarterback. I thought you just said Jones. Yep. Probably right. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. We got Coach Chris, $20 super, says, I'm so frustrated. This offense needs to be simplified. Sean is an egotistical coach. Why can't he make the adjustments? Saw a comment from Kurt Warner said Bo's trying to learn to play with his feet moving. Why? I don't think they're coaching him to do that. I don't know. You'd have to ask Davis Webb, quarterback coach, and Bo Nix, what's going on? He did this at Auburn. I thought they kind of did pat it down some at Oregon. Granted, there was a lot of snap, turn and throw where he's not even having to drop back. But in the NFL, at the end of the day, your ceiling as an offense is only as good as your drop back pass game. It's the only way to unlock a lot of defenses. So I don't know what's going on. Again, I keep saying it looks like he's snorting an espresso in the huddle of every snap because he's just playing so fast. It's out of control at that. I don't know if you ever get frantic or manic, Eric, when you're trying to do something, you're getting anxious about it, trying to get something done and you make a mistake.
Have you met me?
I have met you. I'm just, I didn't want to point the finger too hard at you on that one, but sometimes steady is fast because you're not going to make a mistake. And right now it feels like the whole process from how he's reading it to his lower body mechanics is just so sped up and frantic. So I don't know what's going on. I smelled a lot of stuff in the air in the stadium and outside the stadium that's legal in Colorado. But Bo, maybe just hang out with them. You don't have to partake. I don't know what's going on, but just the vibes of the calm might be good for him because it is 80s New York stockroom style of play going on.
And I want to say, Coach Chris, thank you again for the $20 super chat. We appreciate that. I just want to add, the offense needs to be simplified. I don't know how much more simple you can get them what they're doing. Outside of eliminating all plays beyond 10 yards, there's not much more you can do.
Run the ball more, I think is what it is. Take it out of the quarterback's hand. That's the only thing I can think of.
But even then, like, that's not necessarily making the offense more simple. Like,
It's taking off
making
Bo
more
Nix's plate.
straightforward.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of easy reads, and already it's half field reads. You read the safety, and that determines which side of the field you're going. Or RPOs,
Sprint
or
outs.
those quick slants, the
Moving
hot
pockets.
reads.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's already so simple for the passing game, and Bo Nix is struggling to hit it consistently, and that I don't know where you go from here, because again, outside of making it all sub 5 yards, you can't get more simple than what they're doing. It's simple concepts, simple smash, simple scissors. It's very simple passing concepts that a lot of high school quarterbacks know how to go out there and execute, and Bo Nix is looking like he's never seen some of these before.
For me, it's not even necessarily the play calls and the design, although, again, bailing out pocket too soon, getting the check down too soon. It's the freaking fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, screw the play call, quarterback's got to have his feet better and in line and in time. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. You have the best play call ever. Quarterback's going to miss the throw if you're playing with the erratic nature mechanically that we're seeing right now. So I don't know what's going on. Sports psychologist out there in Dove Valley, maybe maybe Bo needs a hug. We got Patrick. Speaking of hug, shout out to Patrick. Appreciate you. Blind coffee. Are you doing okay?
Maybe I'm trying to think of the word yips.
Yeah.
Is that maybe he has the yips?
Something. It doesn't make any freaking sense. I mean, coming out of Oregon, granted, one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever. When we took away all the screen passes, he's still, not having a drop at all. Maybe he needs to be a static quarterback. I know his athleticism is one of his pluses. I don't know. We're grasping at straws right now. Same as the people saying that Denver has to go with tempo all the time. You're grasping at straws, unfortunately, because you're just hoping any change can work because we're married with the quarterback. And we still have time to figure it out. He has time to figure it out. And Denver's at 8-2. They got a mini bye week. And we got Marcus coming in. Whether ugly or pretty, we're 8-2, baby. I like that. I've seen too many losing seasons the last 10 years to get upset about a win. Go Broncos. Yeah, absolutely. You bought yourself time, I think, is the big thing. Everybody knows that the offense hasn't been good enough. And it's not just the offense. It's the special teams and the penalties as well. 2 of those need to get cleaned up. Otherwise, Denver is, I don't care what the record is, they're a pretender overall, whether it be passing, offense, penalties, or special teams. 2 of the 3 need to be cleaned up, or you're a Super Bowl pretender, I think. And it sucks because you'd be wasting a special defense, but got to clean it up. And they know that. They see the film. They're not stupid. They don't have the orange glasses on in the building. I bet you those meetings are rough. But appreciate you, Marcus. Good to see you. Diego also comes in and says, what are thoughts on Pat Bryant? I think he looks promising. I think a lot of the targets that are going to Troy Franklin probably need to go to Pat Bryant personally. Stronger hands. I don't know if it's usage or not. Can he actually track the ball and make a play above the rim vertically? Haven't really seen that so much. A lot of his plays have been much more horizontal plane or slants. But I think coming out of the bye week, less Troy Franklin. Maybe he's more horizontal plane stuff, given how terrible they are vertically with him, and figuring out how to get the ball more in Pat Bryant's hands, just because I think you have less ceiling because he's obviously not as fast, but right now the Broncos are one of the worst down-to-down passing offenses in football when you look at like success rate and stuff. And Bryant's, dare I say, been your most consistent catcher when the ball's thrown his way? I think he might be. It's small sample, but I think he might be.
He may not be as fast, but I think he makes up for it with the angles that he takes. And he's turned a couple of those, quick hitters over the middle, those quick in routes, and has turned them into 15, 20 plus yards added after the catch. He had one of those last night just because he's smart with the angles. And one of the things, I hate screens, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I would like to see a screen play to Bryant to where you can try to maximize his awareness with the angles and see if he can't make something happen, use that to make up for the speed that he just doesn't have, instead of just constantly relying on the speed of Troy Franklin when he has no idea how to angle defenders properly or even stack defenders properly. I would like to see more Pat Bryant. He is a guy who, what was it, after the Giants game, I talked about this, between the Jets, Eagles, and Giants game, that 3-game stretch there were like 5 or 6 plays where Pat Bryant should have been in the progression and he was wide open and Bo Nix didn't even look his way. He's been getting open. He just hasn't been getting targeted. I would like to see him get a little bit more usage, whether it be purely by design of, hey, go out there and make this throw, provided that's what the read the pre-snap read suggests, or whatever the case. He's found a way to make a pretty consistent impact, with, the exception of the Giants game, which was his worst game by far as a blocker, and he also had a bad drop. But he's been pretty consistent when out there on the field in those aspects. Again, minus that Giants game. Yeah,
and it's too much to get too much on the offense, and it stinks because it's overshadowing just how good the defense has been. Shout out to Wazarike, maybe his first career sack on that one, and Denver had Geno Smith limping around out there, took away the run. Brock Bowers with 1 catch. The defense was unbelievable. You can just go down the list. Every single player on the defense had a heck of a game. Cooper, Tillman, Benito, Allen, John Franklin Myers, DJ Jones, Malcolm Roach, Wazarike. Just start naming the defensive players. They're playing unbelievable football. They got a real test coming next week, but it's frustrating because the defense is doing what they're doing, but man, the offense is doing what they're doing, but man, the defense is playing so freaking good. So we have to give them their love, the shout out here, and hopefully the offense will get it going here pretty soon. They don't even have to be, top 10. Can we finish, I don't know, top 18 right now? Let's finish 15th in EPA and 20th in success rate. If you can clean up those penalties and special teams a little bit with this defense, you got a chance in any freaking game. But right now, Denver's probably because they've been so good in the red zone, their EPAs, and they don't take sacks, and they've been not terrible at turnovers. Their EPAs closer to middle of the pack. They've also had the easiest schedule of opposing defenses in NFL so far this season, according to DVOA. Not the New England Patriots, even though everybody likes to say that when they're talking about Drake May. No, it's actually been the Broncos. Sorry to say that. But yeah, clean it up. If we can get there, you can beat anybody. But 8-2, you can buy yourself time. Figure it out. And there's plenty of times in 2012, 2013, 2012 early on, 2013, 2015. Oh, this isn't a Super Bowl team. Super Bowl teams have lulls and bad stretches and figure it out. Everybody was writing the Eagles off to start off last season as well. So we'll figure out what they're made of, how good the coaching staff is. We got some important games coming up.
Yeah, and it's one thing that's nice for them is that they have, plenty of time. They have one game in 23 days, I think is what it is.
Yep.
So plenty of time for them to really break down this offense and figure out stuff. And maybe what Sean Payton needs to do, and, this kind of goes back to simplifying the offense. Maybe he needs to not necessarily throw out the whole playbook, but sit down with Davis Webb, sit down with, the main playmakers, Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, some of those guys, maybe, all the receivers and tight ends, whatever, and go through and be a little bit more, even more limiting with the playbook, but doing so in a way where these players have a voice in what they're running. This is what I can do. I love this play. I know how it works inside and out. Keep it in there. And then some of the other useless stuff, like the trick plays, which the Broncos have ran 4 or 5 trick plays this season, and not a single one of them's worked. Maybe one of them did. I can't remember, because they had the flea flicker against the Titans. I can't remember if that one ended up working out or not, off the top of my head. But the trick plays, it's time to set those aside. I love creativity, but there's a time and place, and that time and place isn't when your offense isn't doing as terrible, but something that they need to do. And seeing a couple comments on this one just real quick. Tyler Bidet, man, time to be inactive. You know how many times he's blocked this season? And this is going back to before the season started. He's a blocker, blah, blah, blah. He's blocked twice this season. Twice in pass protection. He's running routes, and he can't catch the ball. Yeah. At least Jaleel McLaughlin is giving you a little bit more potential in the running game, which you need because RJ Harvey can't find consistency running the ball.
J.K. Dobbins, your only hope. Troy, $10 again. Looking ahead, if Surtain is back with Greenlaw, plays more, can this defense slow down KC? I don't think Surtain's going to be back personally, but you never know. I think we'll probably find out next Wednesday.
It sounds like it's a 60-40 that he won't be back.
I wouldn't expect them to.
Yeah.
They seem designed to stop the offense. My big thing for the defense next week, and we got time to talk about it because I got to go. I got to drop off the kid at daycare here, and we're going over an hour with a special show. But, gosh, I lost my track. The big thing, I think, is they need to do what they've done this season a lot, and they need to punish Mahomes. I'm not saying dirty, but I'm saying he needs to leave this one not feeling the best. Come off the bye week, he's going to be feeling good. Get the frick after him. Hit him hard. I'm going to channel my inner Aqib Talib here. There's a few penalties that are okay sometimes. I know we've been harping about penalties, but that first drive, say it's going to be a long day, son. Make sure he feels you.
You just got to be careful because Denver's starting to get a dirty reputation when it comes to quarterbacks after the Stroud hit. And to be fair, the one hit that Zach Allen had on Geno Smith should have been roughing the passer. That was late. He took 3 steps before hitting him. Plenty of time to pull up. There's been some dirty calls about it, so you may want to be a little bit careful about talking about punishing Mahomes, but you're 100% correct.
You're good. It's my wife saying I got to go. All right, guys, that's it. she's right. So shout out to her. Shout out to the super chats coming in here. Thanks, Troy, again. Sorry to cut you off there, Eric. I just thought it'd be funny to answer that on the phone because I knew it was coming. So thanks, everybody. I mean, Denver 8-2, 7-game win streak. A lot to work on. Don't know what I'm going to do with myself on Sunday. I guess not stress. But shout out to everybody coming in here. Got to wrap this up quickly, so not going to click on every single super chat member and all that. But please, thank you. God bless. Hope you guys enjoyed the Friday show. That's probably going to become a norm here pretty darn soon instead of Wednesday because things. Follow us at Mile High Huddle. Follow us at Eric Trickle and at Nick Kendall MHH. Get at me. Some people don't like what I have to say on Twitter sometimes. I'm provocative, not always right. I don't claim to be smart. Follow us on Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod. And like, subscribe, share. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Eric and I had a lot to say today to get off our chests, obviously. And we had so many good super chats in here as well that we didn't get to as many of the non-super chats. We'll always get to your super chats, but we don't want to not highlight everybody coming in otherwise as well. So join us again on Monday coming up here. We'll talk some more.
Or tonight for me.
Yeah. You're not going to be there.
No, I said or tonight for me as well.
No, don't tune in tonight. Go do something better with your time. But no, appreciate everybody. Eric, always thanks for coming Friday. Thanks everybody in the chat. Like, subscribe, share. Like I said, something you didn't like on here, something we got egregiously wrong, hit us up on Twitter. I'm going to take a nap today. So yeah, I'll have time to be Twitter fingers away. But appreciate everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Kindness and compassion. Broncos rating 2, baby. It's frustrating, but that's the bottom line. And first place in the AFC West. So shout out to the defense. Offense, get your bleep together. Kindness and compassion. Go Broncos.